On your mark, get set. Let's go.
I can't do it. We'll do it live. Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
Mister, will you please wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up?
Good morning. Kevin Durant, you should have left California.
This Brownsexual upset me in having to bring this teenage idiot from Wisconsin into a sports conversation. Are you really surprised the Cowboys are giving up on Ezekiel Elliott?
Whoa. Hell no! Well, no one cares about baseball.
Bitch, are you for real?
Oh, yeah! Snowman is back and ready to roll. Good morning. Welcome to the Manic Monday edition of Snowman in the Morning. Glad to have y'all with us, and we are presented by BetUs.com. Sports bettors, listen up. Your favorite sports book is back and in our 30th year of action with live in-game betting, incredible odds with daily odds boosters, props, parlays, and fast payouts, and exceptional one-to-one customer service. We got it all. Log on to betus.com or call 800-792-3887. That's 800-792-3887. And now, when you sign up and use the code Snowman, you will get a 125% deposit match on your first deposit. And we are also presented by Invader Coffee, for the coffee lover who wants quality coffee with no BS and no filler. Invader Coffee is an ultra-premium, veteran-owned coffee company, proudly delivering the best coffee your hard-earned money can buy. We aim only to serve the highest quality, organic, air-roasted coffee beans sourced from free trade farms from all over the world. We keep things simple, the best coffee at an affordable price, and in order to provide you the value you deserve from your morning boost. From 100% fair trade farms, whole or ground. 100% air-roasted coffee with a 100% money-back guarantee. And if you use the code Snowman when you purchase Invader Coffee, you will get a nice size discount for your purchase. On your mark, get set, and go. It is time for us to go. Let me welcome play-by-play with JJ, as well as the super producer, Shane Lake, the first arrivals into the Fanatic Feedback Zone. And we are going to do this leading off with... I couldn't see that. I'm sorry. Leading off with the Whip Around, presented by Fanatics. And we start with a big one, as the NFL owners plan to meet July 20th and potentially vote to approve the Commanders' sale. A person with knowledge of the situation said Friday. The person said teams were notified Thursday of a special league meeting that will take place in Minneapolis, Minnesota. The person spoke to the Associated Press on the condition of anonymity because the league meeting was not announced. So, goodbye, Daniel Snyder. Get the hell out and stay out. Now maybe the franchise will return to their winning ways on and off the field. Prosecutors in Kansas City dropped a misdemeanor assault charge against Raiders All-Pro wide receiver Davante Adams. Adams shoved a credentialed freelance photographer after a Monday Night Football game on October 10th against the Kansas City Chiefs. The Raiders lost the game 30-29, and as Adams left the playing field and headed for the locker room, cameras captured Adams shoving the photographer, who was identified as Park Zebley, to the ground. A civil suit against Adams is still not resolved, and Zebley said he got whiplash, a headache, and possible minor concussion from the shove. The defendants in the case include Adams, the Raiders, the Chiefs, the Jackson County Sports Complex Authority, and Landmark Event Staffing Services. The 30-year-old Adams has been named first-team All-Pro in each of the past 3 seasons. I don't know why. In 2022, his first with the Raiders, he caught 100 passes for 1,516 yards and 14 touchdowns. So what? Did that lead to a playoff berth? No. Did that lead to some changes in the Raiders? Yes, it did. I'm glad the suit against him was dropped. Settle it civilly, and Park Zebley, prove your case. That's all I got to say. The WNBA All-Star Game is headed by Brittany Griner, Aaliyah Boston, among the 2023 WNBA starters. They were announced Sunday. They were determined by a fan vote, WNBA players, and the media. The captains of the two teams are Las Vegas Aces, forward Asia Wilson, and New York Liberty forward Breanna Stewart, who finished in the top 2 fan votes. This will be Griner's 9th All-Star selection, the most of any starter. Griner was named an honorary All-Star last season by Commissioner Kathy Engelbert, as she missed the entire 2022 season due to imprisonment in Russia. Despite the year off, Griner has had an impact for the Phoenix Mercury with 19 points per game, 6.4 rebounds, and a league-high 2.4 blocks per game. She was 3rd in fan voting behind Wilson and Stewart. Aaliyah Boston, the number 1 pick in the 2023 WNBA draft, will be the first rookie selected to start an All-Star game since Shawnee Schimmel in 2014, and the 6th rookie to accomplish the feat in league history. The Indiana Fever forward leads the league in field goal percentage and leads all rookies in scoring, rebounding, and blocks. Boston was 4th in the fan voting. The list of starters reads as follows. Asia Wilson from the Las Vegas Aces, the WNBA champion Las Vegas Aces. It's her 5th selection. Breanna Stewart from the New York Liberty with her 5th. Brittany Griner with her 9th, as mentioned earlier. Aaliyah Boston, the fabulous rookie who was on her way to Rookie of the Year, will start her first All-Star game. Chelsea Gray from the Aces. Jewel Lloyd from the Storm. Arike Ogunbowale from the Dallas Wings with her 3rd selection. Nika Ogumake from the Los Angeles Sparks. Setu Sabali from the Dallas Wings, and Jackie Young from the Las Vegas Aces. Congratulations to the WNBA starters. Let's see a great WNBA All-Star game. Well, there's a couple of extensions going on. Assuming all goes well over the next few years, Sean McDermott and Brandon Beane will still be in their positions with the Buffalo Bills when new Highmark Stadium opens for business in 2026. Friday morning, the team announced that it is extending the contracts of the head coach and general manager through the 2027 season. They essentially came to Buffalo as a package deal in 2017 from the Carolina Panthers. McDermott first arrived in January and was once thought that last year's draft was complete. Bean joined him in May, and now their partnership will go on for more than a decade in Buffalo. Congratulations to Sean McDermott and Brandon Bean. Forgot his name for a moment. As they got contract extensions, hopefully this will lead the Buffalo Bills to something they haven't had a chance to do since the 90s. And that's compete not only for a Super Bowl, but in it. Legend that is Ice Cube, a rapper and actor and co-founder of the 3-on-3 pro basketball venture known as the Big Three, expressed his displeasure with the NBA and sports media landscape over the way his league is being covered. In a video posted Sunday to his Twitter account, Ice Cube, his real name is O'Shea Jackson Sr., accused the NBA and mainstream sports media of intentionally excluding his league. Boy, I understand that, and I'm happy he said something. Let's continue to say something. If the mainstream sports media can slobber and drool over Victor Wembanyama and everything he does in his pro league, you can do the same for the Big Three, period, point blank, end of story. And this is the end of the whip around. Let's go to the Fanatics feedback zone. Play-by-play with JJ says hopefully Josh Harris and David Blitzer do what's best for the organization. Us Sixer fans aren't in a good spot from that. Totally get it. Mitch Kofsky joins us this morning. Welcome back, bro. Good morning. Thank you. And we thank you, Jody and I thank y'all very much for all the love y'all sent while we were on vacation. Victor Lott says, good morning. The Snowman has returned. Yes, I have. The big dog Shane Lake says, Commanders changing high ups again. Well, here we go again. Yeah, that's about how I thought. That is about how I thought. Keep the comments coming. We love y'all, and we love the feedback that we get from the fans. Taking a break, and coming up, we got more stuff for you as I am back in the chair, and it feels good to be back, but it feels good to be back with you guys. A quick break, and we got more stuff for you. This is Snowman in the Morning, back in a flash.
One of the great things about ordering meals from Mother of Macros is that you can do it from the comfort of your own home. Click the national or local delivery link to access the menu, and we'll ship the meals right to your door. We understand you won't always have time to plan, shop, prepare, and cook to provide healthy nutrition for your family, so the process is simple and saves you hours. We know you're busy, so our meals are professionally prepared and packaged. You only need to heat them up and enjoy. We provide macro-balanced, delicious meals chock full of fresh, local ingredients with none of the stuff you don't want to eat. Plus, our menu changes every week, keeping your taste buds wanting more. We take care of your meals so you can worry about everything else on your list. Mother of Macros.
I don't want to grow up. I'm basically a man-child. 2005 Burning Man. I put a single Mitsubishi 170-watt panel on the roof of my F-250, and I killed the batteries within like 15 minutes of the first time turning them on. So that's when I first got into solar. I was blown away by the customer service at Battleborn.
We want them to be happy with our product because in the long run, they're the ones who are out there using it.
When you used to buy something American, like a car, something you knew was built really well, that's what I think of with Battleborn.
Hey, y'all, Snowman here. Catch me, Cole Johnson, Wise El Jefe, and the usual cast of characters as we bring it to you every Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. Eastern. It's called Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson, and it's right here on CSTV and CSTVnow.com. Join us, won't you? All right, welcome back to Snowman in the Morning. Gonna make some changes to those commercial packs that y'all see. There are some pieces I need to add to them. I'll do that today and get everything reloaded and ready for tomorrow. We'll go back to the Fanatics feedback zone in just a moment, but I want to take this time to say thank you to everyone who showed love to Jody and myself during our vacation. Wished us well. Long drive both ways, but we had an absolute blast. And if you join the Patreon, patreon.com/SDM Sports Radio Network, I will post a little teaser as to what we did and the incredible surprise that she surprised me with for our anniversary this past weekend. But as I said, we had a ball. Going to do a full vlog about it for the Facebook page that you must take a look at. It's called Tall Man Dr. K. Just search it on Facebook. The vlog will be there also. I think I get my partner at the top of the second hour. Welcome to those of you watching on BS3 TV and CSTV. You can find both of those on your Roku device. And to all the folks, like I said, on CSTV, for our West Coast viewers, Reno, Nevada, and beyond, thank you very, very much, especially to Northern California, which is where I'm going to go next here in just a moment. But to the Fanatics Feedback Zone, presented by Fanatics. Hey, Pizzle joined that. Says, good morning. Good morning to you and to Hawk TV. Says good morning as well. And let me throw JJ a compliment here. JJ, I had a chance to catch some of your streams while on vacation. You, my friend, are doing nothing but getting better, and you are fabulous with what you do. And thank you for the lead into the game I'm doing tonight in the Snowman Broadcast Center. Brewers and Mets. That's an 8 p.m. Excuse me, I take that back. That's a 7 p.m. start time with a 7:10 first pitch from Citi Field in New York. I'll have the call here in studio. And Sig Diggy joins us from Norway, so we are internationally syndicated. All right. Chris Paul has been traded to the Warriors. Jordan Poole sent to the Wizards, a source tells AP. His pursuit of an NBA championship has taken him to the Golden State Warriors after they agreed to framework of a trade Thursday that will send Jordan Poole to the Washington Wizards. The trade also includes a package of draft capital, said the person who spoke to the Associated Press on the condition of anonymity, because the trade has not been finalized and approved by the NBA. Paul says, quote, I'm excited. I'm really excited. He close quote. He told the Charlotte Observer on Thursday. Well, this is a sock in the gut for me because y'all know one of the teams I cover is the Golden State Warriors. I think it's about time for me to drop one of these. All right, this morning's Snowman's Take is brought to you by Invader Coffee. Okay, let me get right to it. Please find a couple of bigs, Golden Warriors, that will spell Kevon Looney, because right now Kevon Looney is the only big that you have, part one. Part two, we don't know if Draymond Green is coming back. I suspect he will at a lower cost because the two sides, congrats to Mike Dunleavy Jr. stepping in, who has been named GM for Bob Myers, who stepped down. You traded James Wiseman and you messed up your whole rotation because though oft injured, James Wiseman was the best big y'all had since Andrew Bogut. He can pass, he can shoot, and plus he's a big man. He played with his back to the basket. Now, I am one that has always said that a player should play 4 years of college and really develop his game. I have been one that has said that. I mean that, and I stick to that. But that's not the way the NBA rolls nowadays. At the same time, you trade draft capital to move up and get James Wiseman, and you give up on him in less than 3 years. You give up on him. That's what that trade signaled to me. And it signaled the end of this part of the Golden State Warriors dynasty because they don't have that one big that can, really complete this roster. And I'm really hoping they find whoever it is. But they need a couple of bigs. Okay? That's what killed them against the Los Angeles Lakers. That is what absolutely killed them. Not having a big that can combat Anthony Davis. Big problem. Big old problem. Because when you don't have that big that can combat Anthony Davis, who's also oft injured, we've never shied away from that. Never shied away from that. When you don't have a big that can combat Anthony Davis, you have a problem. And Steph Curry did so much to try to carry the Warriors to a Game 7, but they just didn't have enough gas in the tank. The Warriors were shorthanded, okay? And if there's one thing you can identify with Golden State is the fact that for a while they had the deepest bench in the NBA. Now that belongs to the Denver Nuggets. Now that belongs to the Denver Nuggets. Will Chris Paul stay in Golden State? We don't know. We simply don't know. Is he going to play for Golden State? I suspect he will. How long is the question? Because you're talking about a fellow that is in his 19th year out of Wake Forest. 19 years. That's a lot of miles on your legs. And the one complaint I had about Chris Paul, the one complaint I will always have about Chris Paul is his availability. We've said it on this show so many hundred times over. The best ability is availability. That is the question I have for Chris Paul. Because if he's available for 82 games, then he can spell Steph Curry with the same kind of skills that Steph Curry has. The only difference is Steph Curry will be in his 14th season. Chris Paul will be in his 19th season. I think I got that right. Shane, if you would confirm that for me. Let me say it again. Chris Paul is in his 19th season. Stephen Curry is in his 14th season. Will be in his 14th season. I beg your pardon. That's the only difference. The other difference is Steph Curry needs some help. I thought I'd never say that about Steph, but Clay wasn't himself. Kevon Looney did all that he did. But beyond him, beyond them, and Draymond Green, who stupidly punched Jordan Poole, which took the Warriors out of themselves. They were not together. You saw it all season long. And I will say it again. The Warriors this past season were maddeningly inconsistent. You saw that all year. You saw that in the series against Sacramento. That was pushed to 7 games. It should have been 6, but the Warriors at home in the Chase Center, where they lost more than 10 games for the first time since 2020. You just don't beat a team with size with small ball. Houston tried it in 2018 but failed. Because remember, Golden State had a couple of bigs back then. The other mistake that Houston made, they relied on their three-point shooting the second part of Game 6 and 7 when they should have beat up the Warriors inside like they were doing. Matter of fact, they tried it 2 straight years. They tried it 2 straight years and they failed. Now you look at Golden State and they're in disarray and they are in pieces. They have some pieces to compete, but when you look at when you look at teams like the Denver Nuggets, man, please, you're not going to mess with Nikola Jokic. I pronounced that wrong. I'm sorry. You're not going to compete with a team like that is together, which identified the Golden State Warriors for the better part of 8 years. They were together. You know, Doc Rivers famously said, I know you all want to win, but you got to do it together. They have to do it together. The mindset has to get back to where they were in 2015. Hell, in 2022 when they won it all and no one expected them to. When they were the 3rd seed. Now the question is, where will Golden State go to get some size? You know, where will Golden State lean to get some size? Because the way they're constructed right now, and with age playing a major factor, Father Time is undefeated, with age playing a major factor in this, they're not going to go anywhere. And you lost a major piece when Andre Iguodala retired. Why was he a major piece? He was so good for them defensively. But after 19 years, he hung them up. Where are you going to get that nerve? It's one thing, and I've said this often, it's one thing to have knowledge, but it's another to have nerve. Lots of it. And the Warriors right now need that nerve. They need that nerve to get them back on top of the NBA mountain. Now, they're just 1 year removed from winning the title. And again, congratulations to the world champion Denver Nuggets. They showed everybody how it's done. And they showed the Golden State Warriors how they should have done it in keeping James Wiseman. You keep a young part of your core, a very young part of your core, and it also helped to spread the offense. It also helped to spread everything around. You can't just run through the Splash Brothers anymore. You can't do that. So Chris Paul may be a part of the Golden State Warriors, but that's only a part of their problem. The biggest part of their problem is a lack of size. The biggest problems, and JJ, I know you can identify with this, lack of size, part one, and part two, lack of nerve. I have never seen a Golden State Warriors team since 2014 play that tentative. You can see it. Let's go back to the Lakers series. You can see it in game one when the Warriors blew out to a 10-2 lead and they forced the Lakers into a timeout. They led by as many as 13 in game one. You know what the problem was? They took their foot off the pedal. That should have been a blowout. That should have been a blowout because the Warriors had them pinned to the floor, but they let them up. They let them up. They let them back in the game. Even a 14-0 run. When the Warriors trailed 112-98 and Stephen Curry rode to the rescue, tied the game at 112, they had a lapse on defense and they let D'Angelo Russell get all the way to the hoop for a layup. Big mistake. That set the tone for the series, in my opinion. That set the tone for the series. When D'Angelo Russell broke the tie, he broke the Warriors. Now they have to get some size, and they have to really get back to who they were. They really have to get back to that. They have to get some size, and they got to get it fast. They got to get it fast because teams have now figured out that they need size. You know who started all that? Toronto. When they beat the Warriors in 6 games in 2019 and broke the stigma of the Big Three. Jordan Poole was never the same player after that punch. And Draymond Green divided the locker room. Thank you, Cool McCain. That is a locker room that's in disarray and in disrepair. And they need a quality big. Let me just say this. Not just a big, but a quality big. A couple of quality bigs that will get them back on top of the mountain. That will get them back on top of the mountain. Because right now, the Denver Nuggets are them. You know, a lot of players say that the Denver Nuggets played as a team. They took the Warriors blueprint, copied it, and rolled. That should have been a sweep of Miami. And kudos to Denver for figuring it out. Kudos to Denver for figuring out how to put it together, believing in Nikola Jokic, believing in Jamal Murray, believing in KCP, and believing in Mike Malone. I said it often, and I will say it here. And Cool McCain, this is for you, buddy. To be the champs, you must unseat the champs. Well, the way the teams are constructed right now in the Western Conference, no one's knocking Denver off. And as far as the East goes, Milwaukee's in disarray, Boston's definitely in disarray. Miami, they are broken apart after getting a foot put in their ass. Let's call it the way we see it. Miami got a foot put in their ass by the best team in the NBA. Now the Warriors just need to figure it out. They lost a ton of pieces after 2022. And then they lost the locker room after the punch to Jordan Poole by Draymond Green. They got the whole summer to figure this out and to figure out where Chris Paul fits. Matter of fact, I'll go one step further to say if Chris Paul fits. We will find out this coming season because, boy, I'm going to have fun covering it. But again, to my buddy Cool McCain, to be the champs, you must unseat the champs. Period. That's Snowman's take. What is yours? A pause for a break, and when we come back, we're going to sip some coffee with Ryan McCarthy. Hope you all are enjoying the shows. I'm enjoying bringing it to you. Back in a flash.
This planet has been great to me. It's given me gifts that I can't even explain. It's given me adventures and memories I'll never forget. And Battleborn, I think, has given me the opportunity to go beyond and give something back. How can I be a better custodian to this planet and the place I live? That's where I am with Battleborn. Let's make the planet a better place.
Hey everybody, Brian Snow here. Want to do some afternoon sports talk with me and be interactive? Also meet some great guests from every walk of life? Then tune in to The Brian Snow Show on CSTV and CSTVnow.com. Weekdays at 2 p.m. Come on aboard and enjoy the ride.
PK Tire Pro is your one-stop on-the-spot auto service headquarters for a complete line of quality tires and auto services. For years, we have provided the Stockton, California area with the latest products and unprecedented services for everything we sell. And for years, our customers have been coming back. Take a look around. If you don't find what you need, visit us in Stockton, California. From the latest and best in tire technology to the services required to keep your vehicle looking good and running great, PK Tire Pros can get you out on the road quickly and at an affordable price. Stop by soon to see why so many people consider PK Tire Pros to be the one-stop shop for all of their tire needs. At PK Tire Pros, our friendly and knowledgeable staff, quick and dependable service professionals, and affordable prices all come together to make driving out on a new set of tires easy. On top of that, we never tire of tires. Stop by and see us, and you'll be glad you did.
Welcome back to Snowman in the Morning on this Monday. Want to support the show? You can do it via Cash App. The tag you need is $Tallman Dr. K50. And you can also support via Venmo. The ID you need is at Big Snowman 2172. That's how you can help the show out. Ryan McCarthy is on the way. I got a few. Let me have a few extra moments here before McCarthy checks in. Matter of fact, let me do this. Let me go to the feedback zone, Fanatics feedback zone, that is. Chris Paul will be sixth man of the year. You know what? I wouldn't be surprised. Play-by-play with JJ says Toronto had size and beat Joel by putting athletic wings on him, and they played football, basketball. Well, yeah. That's how they won. That's how they beat the Warriors up. And believe me, they beat them up. Play-by-play with JJ again. What happens if LBJ smells blood? That's when he's comfortable, and when he's dishing the rock to his teammates and they're hitting their shots, they can take over a series, and they did versus Golden State. Right on the money. Right on the money. Again, to repeat the comment I said during Snowman's take, Draymond Green destroyed the Warriors' chemistry. He sure did. He divided the locker room, and Poole was never the same player. The distrust was obvious. You can see it in how inconsistent they were. You can see it in how inconsistent the Warriors were. Because after that punch and everything leaked into the media, they were never the same. They were never the same. AB Media says, what up? Joining us from Indianapolis, Indiana. Good morning to you, sir. And speaking of Indianapolis, Indiana, this week I'm hustling to get Matt Taylor on the program. Of course, Matt Taylor, the fabulous voice of the Indianapolis Colts. Trying to get him. There's a couple of other guests I'm trying to get on board as well. So we're getting it. We're getting it together. Thank you to CSTV for suggesting this time change, and also to the folks at BS3 TV for viewing us as well. As I mentioned, Ryan McCarthy is on the way. But let me ask you guys something, and I want to hear from the chat. In going back to this past season in the NBA, how inconsistent was Golden State throughout the course of the year as defending champions? They were defending champions at the time. You just don't win being that inconsistent, being that off. They were off all year. They were off. You want to talk about somebody being maddeningly inconsistent? Shane Lake, Draymond ruining a locker room? No, really? Color me shocked. Exactly. The Warriors and Boston Celtics were the same team, never consistent, had their highs and had their lows, but their lows were their true colors. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. I'll say it again. You saw it all year. You saw it all year. There was no way. There was no chance they were going to repeat. It was too much of a roller coaster. They never, even when they won 3, 4, 5 in a row, and it seemed like they turned the corner, they would have a crazy loss, and it would set them back. And now they're set back a couple of years because they don't have any athletic bigs anymore. James Wiseman was on his way to being the Warrior version of Andrew Bogut. Trust me when I tell you that. Trust me when I tell you that. All right, we are ready, and now it is time to sip some coffee. This coffee with McCarthy is sponsored by Steph Curry Cognac. One, and it's lights out.
Rise and grind, y'all! Uh-oh, did we lose Snowman? Aww. He's frozen.
This morning. How are you, my friend?
Oh, there we go. Oh, I'm doing pretty good. Battling some sinus issues, but nothing that will keep me down from making my some morning coffee with you all.
Good. Very good. Great to have you. All right, what's on the coffee list this morning? What's in the coffee this morning?
This is the Outsider blend from
Nice.
Bitter Coffee. So it's the medium/dark roast. So it's a good selection.
Okay. All right.
By the way,
Yes,
thank
sir.
you for letting me fill in for you last week on the Brian Snow Show. I had a lot
My
of fun.
pleasure.
My vocal cords were squiffy at the end of each day, but it was a lot of fun interacting with people and getting to talk sports, and it was a blast. Hopefully I get to do it again soon.
Oh man, thank you for filling in. And I never thought I would see a cat with green eyes, but when you on the first day, Monday, when you had trouble with tag along and tag along showed up, and then you push the button for the backdrop, all I saw was tag along having green eyes walking across your screen.
jumped across to the armoire across from me, and then jumped back down and went to sleep.
That sounds like all of my kittens. They have the zoomies. They run. They run crazy. Matter of fact, I had Pumpkin on this side and Binks on the other side before I came on this morning. Looking at, they're giving me that look. Boys are giving me the look. Daddy, what are you doing?
Yeah, Tagalong's a senior cat, so he's 11 years old, but he still jumps around and runs around, does all those cat things. So he's still active at 11 years old. I mean, God bless him.
Yeah. All right, what you got for me this morning?
Well, tonight I'm gonna do a shameless plug before I continue.
All
So
right.
tonight on No Credentials Required, 8 p.m. Eastern, Dustin and I are going to review Air. I watched it last night, and it was. I'm just gonna say it was. Oh, this is such a good movie, such a great movie. But we'll dive a little deeper into that tonight. We're also going to have a debate because I'm warming up for my appearance on the In or Out Sports Debate show on Tuesday with Drew Willingham. So that's gonna be a lot of fun. We got some good topics planned for the debate. So we're gonna do a sports debate on which is the best month in sports. Is it April or is it October? So that's gonna be our debate tonight.
I'll answer that. Tie. Because you got so much going on in April, and it starts with the national championship, starts with Final Four, depending where it is. Then baseball starting, then you got the tail end of the regular season of the NBA. You got WNBA rumblings. You got spring football going on. WrestleMania. And then you got October. You got the World Series.
You get the NFL draft later in the month.
NFL draft. And then October, you got Yordan Alvarez pounding shots that Robbie Ray had pounding a pitch that Robbie Ray had no business throwing.
I was gonna say pounding shots. What kind of competitive sport is that, Snowman? It's competitive drinking.
For some people, yes.
Yeah. Imagine there's some professional alcoholic out there named Yordan Alvarez pounding shots for a record. It's like
exactly.
Some parallel universe.
He pounds a shot every time Yordan Alvarez pounds a ball into the seats or pounds a ball out of Houston that hasn't come back yet.
Yeah.
Robbie Ray, hello.
Yeah, right. Oh my goodness.
All right, what you got for me this morning?
It's that time of year where things kind of slow down in sports. The lazy days of summer, you got baseball, the Stanley Cup ended, the NBA Finals is done, football doesn't start camp, NFL doesn't start camps until next month. Right. So I'm kind of in this summer lull, and we're going to do some stuff I know Credentials Required. As I mentioned, we're going to do movie reviews, we're going to do some other pretty cool stuff planned, but do you think late June into July is the least? Unless you're a baseball, I know Snowman, you're a big baseball fan, and I know black men talking baseball is kind of verboten in these arenas, same as hockey. But for me, it just seems like
Say it again.
I said black men talking baseball is kind of verboten. There it is.
Oh, the look on some people's faces when they hear me talking baseball. Knowledgeable baseball at that.
and me, a Caucasian-looking guy saying that too is going to shock everybody. Oh, and we're demonetized.
Shock and awe to everyone, right?
My goodness.
Let me go there. Let's go there. Why is it so shocking? I want your opinion on this. Why is it so shocking to the outside world to see black men talking knowledgeable baseball? I really thought about that.
Because the stereotype is to be knowledgeable about football and basketball.
Mm-hmm.
It's based on a stereotype, and I know stereotypes exist for a reason.
Yeah,
but it's still a negative stereotype because
it is.
You want to be as well. I mean, for me, I want to be as well-rounded knowledge-wise about every sport as possible, so I know what I'm talking about when I go on my shows.
Mm-hmm.
So for you, and for Cole, and for anyone else out there who is of a African American descent, to be knowledgeable in sports is very, very rare.
Mm-hmm.
So it's I don't know. I think it's just a stereotype. It's just a stereotype that most, and yeah, it's true. Most African Americans do watch football and basketball.
Basketball. Yep.
Basketball in particular.
Mm-hmm.
But that's why I love coming on your show, because it's so rare. It's not to say rarity, but you're a unicorn. You're a sports talk unicorn. You wouldn't call it sports talk unicorns, excuse me, because you talk everything. Talk about everything.
Come here, Pumpkin. I got a visitor here.
Oh, little buddy.
I don't think he's been on with me before. Here's Pumpkin.
No, he hasn't.
Nope. This is Pumpkin.
Oh.
I know Winnie's been on with me. Y'all know
Yes.
Lucy's been on with me. I think this is the first time I've had Pumpkin up here with me. But
Pumpkin's camera.
knowing a lot of sports is fun to me. Being
It
a
is.
sports nerd, as my wife calls me, that's fun. I love it.
It is. It is. Yeah, I mean, because you're the one. If people want to talk about sports, they know you're the go-to person,
Mm-hmm.
and that makes you feel kind of wanted, and it's just interactive and fun.
It's not the same in mainstream media.
No,
it's not the same in mainstream media because, Dietz has said it, you said it, Cole and I say it. You go woke, you go broke. And the mainstream media is going broke. And we see it all the time with the layoffs at a certain network. Layoffs at other networks are going to start soon.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's no truth in sports talk anymore. There's just this creation of shows for the big networks, Tiki and Tierney. I'm looking at you. And
their hot takes are oh my goodness, especially especially on the Jets. It's
their hot takes are hot garbage.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and you're talking about Tiki Barber, who's a former Giant, talking about the Jets. What is wrong with this picture? I think that's where we can go this morning with the decline of sports talk on major networks, and folks like you and I and Cole and Dietz and Shane Lake and Cool McCain and others are, to borrow a phrase, on the come up fast.
Let me say this: I cannot respect the opinion of a guy who left the Giants 1 year before they won the Super Bowl, before the monumental upset, beating the Patriots.
Yes,
in Super Bowl 42. I cannot respect that because he hated Tom Coughlin and Michael Strahan. He couldn't stand either of them, so he said, "I'm out," and they won the Super Bowl the next year. So
good.
I can't respect the opinion of a guy who left too soon.
Good for him. And
Victor
Kirby, I'm only the black guy that knows about. Victor taught me about curling.
Love curling. I love it when it comes to
Victor taught me about curling back in 2005.
I love curling.
Victor taught me about curling. All right, and it's fun to watch. But some of these, Craig Carton's getting a super max deal from FS1 to do the Carton show, which means he's leaving Carton and Roberts. His last show is Friday. His last show is Friday. I wasn't too impressed with Carton and Roberts. I'll say it. I was not too impressed with Carton and Roberts. Good.
Never watched it.
I've only watched clips. I've never listened to the full show. Sometimes Boomer and Gio get my attention, and I say sometimes because it's the same feed. I'm not even going to mention the Michael K show. All right.
The only shows I really religiously or have a routine of listening to are Snowman in the Morning or watching Snowman in the Morning. Rod Peterson, our buddy Rod Peterson.
Yeah, love Rod.
My buddies Levac and Gaz in Albany, because I interned for them at the 4-letter network in Albany. I interned for them during the summer of 2019.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty much it. I mean, I'll check out my other independent creators with Belly Up Sports and Godzilla Media, but that's pretty much it because I want to hear with the big networks and with the big money that they have, a lot of their takes are just straight up garbage, a hot flaming pile of garbage. There's nothing new. There's nothing original. And I
you
want to hear
just
original
said it.
takes.
There's nothing original. All right.
It's like here's your sheet of paper. Here's what to talk about, and that's it. You can't talk about anything.
That's it.
You can't be creative. There's no creative control. And that's why I love being an independent.
Same here.
Yeah,
Same here. That's
format.
why I love being independent and building my own platform, as you have, with no credentials required. And as the folks, JJ said it during a play-by-play cast. This is the future. It is.
Man.
It is. And then I can't respect. Now, listen. What really got me into sports talk was, I did it at Chicago State for many, many years. But it was Mike and Mike in the Morning that got me into mainstream media, and then they cut them apart. They had such a huge following, and they did so many silly things, that kept their friendship strong.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that four-letter network got in the way. When they kept changing their studio, and if you notice throughout the years that they were on, 18 years, they kept changing their studio setup.
Mm-hmm.
They kept changing their studio setup, flashing money in their face, and they divided not only them, but divided the audience.
Right. And now they can't stand each other, allegedly.
Right.
It's too bad. It's very sad.
It's very sad. Now Pat McAfee's going to bite the dust because he's with that four-letter network now. Mr. McAfee,
and he'll say
you should have stayed independent.
And he claims that they're going to keep the creative. They're going to keep.
No, they're not.
They're going to keep all the creative stuff for the show. They're going to keep all their creative integrity. But I don't see.
Well,
that
you and I both know that's a lie.
I love this comment by play. I love this comment by play with JJ. It says Pat McAfee and Stephen A. Smith are telling me that you now have to start from your own content. It saves money. But here's the thing. Stephen A. had shoulder surgery last year because he was holding up that network by himself. Yeah. But now Pat McAfee's part of the stable.
And they're going to cut him. They're going to cut Stephen A. loose. I'm willing to bet you within a year they're going to cut Stephen A. loose.
Oh yeah, he's going to be on his own.
They're going to cut him loose. He's on the chopping block.
I predict. Here's my prediction.
Go with
Stephen A. And Club Shay Shay combine. They're going to join forces and create their own channel.
This is something Stephen A. should have done a long time ago.
Oh yeah, they both have a big enough following that they can easily take all those viewers and all those listeners from their respective networks, create their own content, and make bank.
That's what we're going to do. Because everyone that's associated with Snowman Multimedia and no credentials required, we're going to invade Las Vegas and take over Radio Row. I said that to Jody. She said, go with it. She gave me her blessing. Well, she's always given it to me. I just never acted on it to really pursue this, get some sponsors, and bring in bank that way. Watch this. Watch this. I had a great conversation with JJ off the air. And he flat out asked me, he said, how do you keep going? Lately, it's been Jody. Jody has been pushing me to get better. Jody has been pushing me to really push the plunger and make this SOP take off. Period. She's really given me her blessing to really make this go. Pat McAfee is a new father. He's eyeing a trust fund for his children. That he is.
Yeah, but
my problem is he's sacrificing his own integrity for a deal with ESPN. And you want a prediction? I got one for you. I don't know how long that deal is, but he won't make it to the end of the deal.
I think it's a 5-year deal.
He won't make it 4 years. He won't make it because they're hemorrhaging money as it is. They're hemorrhaging money as it is.
Oh, Disney as a corporation's hemorrhaging money. I mean, they went away from their primary money making source, which was Disneyland, Disney World, Walt Disney World, and they're putting it on the streaming with shows that nobody really watches. And shows are we've heard DC.
Let's just say it
regularly pans anything from Marvel now.
Yep. Let's just say it plainly. With shows that suck. Period. It's an attitude of suck now with this.
Or movies that nobody watches.
Movies that nobody watches or wants to watch.
Or if it's original, it's the content is terrible.
Awful. God awful. God awful. And you know what makes it so bad? They keep hemorrhaging money putting out this stuff, thinking things are going to turn around quickly. And it's doing the opposite. It's doing the Superman spin into the ground.
No. And they also keep losing streaming subscribers too.
Yeah. By the bunch. And now with YouTube lowering their qualifications to be monetized. Watch this. Watch this.
Yeah.
Play-by-play. Let's go to the Fanatics feedback zone. Play-by-play with JJ says, represent your brand. That's all I got to say. Don't let any corporation take it over unless you believe in what they're doing. Ain't that the truth?
Yeah. I mean, I'm affiliated with 2 networks right now, Belly Up Sports and Godzilla Media, which is
you want to make it. You want to make it 3? I'm offering the platform to you right now. You want to make it 3?
You know who's also reached out to me is Sam Shady. He wants to be put on his network.
Make it 4. make it 4, man.
But here's the thing.
Because we're Shady Sports. Oh, let me bring in somebody. And now our insider with the world champion Houston Astros, as well as the Houston Texans, the man in charge of Cole Sports.
With a Z.
With a Z. Mr. Cole Johnson himself. Good morning, partner.
What's up, good brother?
Gentlemen. How you doing, man? How you doing, Snowman? How you doing, Fanatics Feedback Zone? How you doing, the television radio land?
We are tearing apart. We're doing something near and dear to you. We're tearing apart mainstream media and really announcing our presence as we're going to take over the joint. Yes, sir. Because
sorry.
Why are you sorry for pressing that button?
No, I know.
We were all sitting there dancing because we're announcing our arrival.
I was dancing
right now.
Like hallelujah. Brother Guest was getting down.
That's what I'm talking about. I was happy, brother. Brother Guest was getting down. No, I just didn't want to I just didn't want to hijack the conversation.
Play with JJ says, my only question is, once streaming takes over, what will be the next big wave? We're already creating it.
One will be coming. You just don't know exactly what, but yeah,
exactly.
There's always going to be something else.
Yeah. Oh, it's gonna be a big wave. To answer your question, we're already making that wave. And what gets on people's nerves about sports talk is the fact that, in 4 words, we tell the truth. We call it like we see it. Anybody, and I know I'm gonna get all kinds of comments from my take with the Golden State Warriors this morning, because Cole, you've seen it. You've seen it on Facebook and any other social media. Well, you don't talk about your team truthfully. Want to bet?
I know it.
Oh yeah. Because Cole, you've seen it. Ryan, you've seen it. Every time I spit that out, every time I announce a goal that we're going after, because the first time I wanted to hit Radio World was 56 in Los Angeles, but at the time, my health was going sideways.
Yeah.
And then I wanted to hit 50, 57, but in many ways, I'm still in recovery.
Yeah.
I'm going to say this out loud before we let you go, Ryan. I'm going to say this out loud. Everybody that teams up with Snowman Multimedia and with Cole Sports and with No Credentials Required, this whole group will be in Radio Row in Las Vegas in February, and we're going to take over the joint. Play-by-play with JJ, you too. We're going to take over the joint. I don't care if Jim Rome is there. I don't care if Boomer and Gio is there. I don't even care if Colin Cowherd is there. Give me this, I won't say give me this camera. I'll say,
come on, give me this camera.
No.
Oh, okay.
No. I'm not saying give me this camera. I'm
during
saying
my segments, though, man.
I'm saying give me this button.
No, it's sad. Ryan here. This is his segment.
Yep.
And here we are, probably hijacking it, and he's probably thinking, "Man, I'm taking one big massive."
At least I don't have a bronze-sexual confession this week.
Thank you, God. That was the last thing. That was the last thing I saw before we hit the road.
Oh,
that was the last. Wait a minute.
His bronze-sexual confession.
Yes.
Oh, Lord.
Yes, we saw. Jody and I saw that before we hit the road because I had just shut down my office. We were wrapping things up, getting ready to hit the road. And Jody saw that, and I saw that. And we're like, "What?" and she said, "Usually that's you doing that." I said, "Yeah, usually."
Ryan reached out to me and says, "I got a bronze session confession." I'm like, "Oh, okay."
By the way, thanks to Lake Show Yo for the content gold.
Yes. Yes. Oh God.
Yo.
Speaking of content gold.
Yes.
Your brunch on No Credentials Required. Chef's kiss, my friend. That was good. That was some good stuff.
Thank you.
Thank you. I had a chance to look at that while we were driving back. And also had a chance to look at that when I was in a very special place, which I'll talk about in a moment. But we got to let Ryan go. Thank you very much, my friend. Very, very much appreciated as always. And be ready for the takeover in Vegas when we invade Radio Row. Thank you, partner.
Yep.
Love you.
No Credentials Required tonight at 8. We're reviewing Air, and tomorrow I'll be on Drew's. I'll be on with Drew Willingham on In and Out Sports Debate. It's going to be a fun time.
Oh, that's gonna be something else. I can't wait to watch it. Thank you, brother. We love you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, brother.
Oops. Oh, it feels good to be back. And it feels good to say Hour 2 starts right now. Time for Hour 2 of this spectacular. Ryan McCoffey now joins us this morning.
That's what you need to do to beat Josh Allen. You need to make him uncomfortable.
Hour 2, time for some Spivey notes. And here's Jay.
Well, I know he's only in his third year, but they're just wasting Justin Herbert.
Hour 2.
The hardest working content creator I know. The playmaker.
Hey, LeBron James, the greatest scorer of all time. Hey.
Hour 2.
The one, the only Christopher Dietz.
They rewarded Ohio State for not playing, and they punished USC for playing.
Hour 2. Sam Shady.
Oh, man. It's been a roller coaster ride if you were a Philadelphia Stars fan.
Hour 2. That's Big Ben, the man in charge of the BS3 network.
And if I see Kurt 2 Chainz Cousins out.
Hour 2, Chris Bay's joining us.
Oh my God! Oh, this game! Oh, way to go, Sammy!
Hour 2, YSL.
Oh man, I thought I missed it. What in the all types of blue hell?
Time for Hour 2 of this spectacular, and it starts right now. Oh my heavens! I still can't get over Kurt 2 Chainz Cousins. And you found that clip.
That's one of the best Jim's Ben ever said. I'm like, oh man, yes.
And
And
then
I
you
remember,
put
I remember when he said it.
Kirk Cousins with his chains with two chains.
I'm like, okay, I gotta
And the
find.
chains weighed more than Kirk Cousins did.
Yeah, the chains weigh more than him. Yeah, I was like, I
The
gotta
chains
find.
weigh more than him.
I was like, I gotta find a clip where Kurt was wearing them doggone chains without the shirt, and then I got to find the best two chains picture to just mesh together.
Oh, Lordy. Oh, Lordy. Welcome back. Hour 2 of Snowman in the morning. Yours truly, the Snowman, back in office on
And
this
it's good
Monday.
to have you back.
Oh, man. It's great. It's great to be back. We had a blast last week. We had a blast. It was good to get away. And as Victor said to me, man, we saw the stress on your face. I'm thinking how, but then I got away for a week and everything melted. So
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
I understand now. And we just kept saying this is something we needed. Well, a lot of people asked me what was my anniversary surprise that Dr. K surprised me with. It was a tour of Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City.
It is. I've been on record saying this. Now I'm going to be on record on this show and saying it. To me, it is the prettiest baseball park I have ever laid my eyes on. Period.
I got a ton of pictures from when the crew was working on the field because the Royals were on the road. I got to sit. Danny Matthews, the legendary voice of the Kansas City Royals for many, many years. I got to sit on his throne and take a picture. Had a chance to put on the headset and take a picture of that and the TV booth with the Royals backdrop. I want to shout out Vicky and Colby and everyone that made the experience so very special. And I would be remiss if I didn't shout out my beautiful Dr. K for surprising me with that.
Yeah, that was a wonderful surprise that she unveiled on you. That was good. That was good. And you looked at home in the booth. I was like, to the point where I was about to ask, has Snowman found himself a new team?
Well, they're going to be one of them. I will say that they're gonna be one of them. And I've always loved listening to Danny Matthews and Ryan Lefebvre. You know.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get back to business. Second half of Snowman in the Morning is brought to you by BetUs.com. Your favorite sports book is back and in their 30th year of action. Log on to betus.com or call 800-792-3887. That's 800-79-BET-US. BetUs.com when the game begins. And if you log on now and sign up, especially with all the baseball that's going on, you can get a 125% deposit match if you use the code Snowman. Cole Johnson with me. And
Snowman has returned, and we're going off the rails yet again.
you ain't got a lick of sense for that. What made you come up with that?
Oh,
with the breaking news bumper. What made you come up with that?
Well, I was like, okay, I know we will have breaking news eventually.
Right.
But I was like, you know what? Sometimes it's cool to just do breaking news and actually just have it be a spoof. And so I came up. It was with the NBA draft coming soon. I was like, okay,
yeah.
Let's poke fun in it. So yeah, I when you were on vacation, I said yes. The Spurs, their number 1 overall pick, will pick Victor Wembanyama, and then I did another one. First pick with the first pick to the upcoming NHL draft, the Chicago Blackhawks will pick Connor Bedard.
Yep. And Ryan and I are going to cover the NHL draft like it's never been covered before. Mm-hmm. And you mentioned they mentioned something in the chat, and you echoed it. With all the streaming that's going on right now, we really don't need the major networks. They're hemorrhaging money as it is.
It's getting to that point. And and
I don't know how Fox is surviving.
Here's proof.
Mm-hmm.
You have ESPN who wants to have the best flavor they possibly can, the
Oh, dear
hottest
God.
flavor possible.
Man,
And they
yeah,
reached out
yeah.
and threw the bag at Pat McAfee, who technically he really doesn't need a major network.
No, he built
really doesn't.
his platform out of a damn truck,
Mm-hmm.
out of a box truck.
Yeah, he really doesn't need it.
And people jumped at the same way the same way we're building this network. You and I, we're doing this independent of any station. And I said so many times over, and in the time you and I have been friends, I said we're going to take over the joint.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I got people saying you need to be realistic. Give me this button. Being realistic. What do I always say at the end of the show? Dream big, do bigger. Well, Pat McAfee, in my opinion, has sold his soul to ESPN.
Yeah. Well, no, if the bag is good, so be it. I hope the bag is good. Hope you enjoy it. But yeah, I mean, you having those types of platforms, independent of needing ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox, ESPN, Fox Sports, CBS Sports, NBC Sports, backing the Brinks truck to them, saying, "Well, you know what? You can diversify your audience and still get in front of many, many more people exponentially if you have our promotion, our capabilities, our resources." Now, it still can work that way, and it still is, you know, it still is a profitable move. But when you have these platforms like a Pat McAfee that can build it from scratch, and you almost don't need to have the reliance on a major network, that is proof that it looks like major network TV as we know it either is going to have to really change, or it's going to have to recede.
Let me, like I said, I did it during the first hour. Let me do it again before we go to break. Let me throw JJ some flowers. Jason Joseph. He just said people were in their homes pressing buttons and directing, and it worked. Remote productions can work. I did it for UNCG for a year. I did 8 games with them. Who the hell says it can't work? And I remember the call I got from them, from my buddy Colby. He called me February 25th and said, "Can you do UNCG, I think, and against Appalachian State?" Now, he's in North Carolina. I'm in Indiana. And I was about to say no when I said, "Wait a minute, can we do this remotely?" He said, "Yeah, we can send you a Zoom link. You sign in there. We'll hook up your audio, and then we go." Best thing I ever done. Ever. And I love being at the park. Don't get it twisted. I love being at the park. I love hearing the crowds and everything. But with what I've been through the past 2 years health-wise, I'm staying at home.
And
I'm doing the Brewers and the Mets tonight.
And it opened your eyes to a whole new possibility. That's the one thing about the pandemic. The bad thing is, yes, we have to be a little more conscious of how we are outdoors and all of that type of stuff.
Right.
But the good though is, and JJ, you said it beautifully. It's gotten to the point where you can do this remotely and you can still have a top-notch production that a 9-figure studio could give you, 8 or 9-figure studio could give you.
Yeah.
And
and we're doing it now.
Yeah. And to me, I've said this before, I'll say it again. COVID-19, I think, is probably the worst thing that could have happened to mainstream media.
Yeah.
For the standpoint of they're no longer the monopoly dog.
Exactly.
They may now be top dog,
but they're not the monopoly, like you said.
Not monopoly, because now you have people who want to have alternative entertainment, and so Netflix is proof, and Hulu and other apps on TV is proof. Podcast is proof, because I think there's a stat where people are turning more to podcasts than they are to Netflix, and Netflix,
Yeah.
people turn a lot too. So, yeah,
And of course, there's something that Jody introduced me to: audiobooks, Audible.
yeah.
And now you can have your podcast on Audible, which is one of the places where we are.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the places where we are. Let's take a break. When we come back, we got some more stuff for you. This is hour 2 of Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson. Back in a flash.
This planet has been great to me. It's given me gifts that I can't even explain. It's given me adventures and memories I'll never forget. And Battleborn, I think, has given me the opportunity to go beyond and give something back. How can I be a better custodian to this planet and to the place I live? That's where I am with Battleborn. Let's make the planet a better place.
Hey everybody, Brian Snow here. Want to do some afternoon sports talk with me and be interactive? Also meet some great guests from every walk of life? Then tune in to The Brian Snow Show on CSTV and CSTVnow.com. Weekdays at 2 p.m. Come on aboard and enjoy the ride.
Time subject to change.
PK Tire Pros, your one-stop on-the-spot auto service headquarters for a complete line of quality tires and auto services. For years, we have provided the Stockton, California area with the latest products and unprecedented services for everything we sell. And for years, our customers have been coming back. Take a look around. If you don't find what you need, visit us in Stockton, California. From the latest and best in tire technology to the services required to keep your vehicle looking good and running great, PK Tire Pros can get you out on the road quickly and at an affordable price. Stop by soon to see why so many people consider PK Tire Pros to be the one-stop shop for all of their tire needs. At PK Tire Pros, our friendly and knowledgeable staff, quick and dependable service professionals, and affordable prices all come together to make driving out on a new set of tires easy. On top of that, we never tire of tires. Stop by and see us, and you'll be glad you did.
The following is a public service announcement from David 3000.
Yankees suck.
This has been a public service announcement from David 3000.
You're an idiot, and I love you for that.
Back at it on Snowman the Morning with Cole Johnson. The Snowman is back. I'm Cole Johnson, and I'm an idiot now. Why?
No. I mean it out of love. The way you caught what David said, and then you put it in a public service announcement like you did with Wise.
Mm-hmm.
I mean it. I mean it in total love, because I love the way you're such a mad scientist about it, and you catch stuff. All right. Oh Lord, Jay Spivey at the bottom of this hour. We're gonna have some fun talking more media stuff, and then I'll have Jay on tomorrow at the bottom of hour 1 of the Brian Snow Show. And man, yeah, I think this is gonna be regular. This is gonna be a regular schedule. Listen, while I was away, strange stuff happened in sports.
Like,
aside of the obvious of Victor Wembanyama, let's park there. Victor Wembanyama going first overall to the Spurs. Okay, I like the fact that he will be coached by Greg Popovich. I like that.
Yeah,
but
a proven track record of coaching international players, and a proven track record of coaching bigs as well. Yeah,
exactly. I love that. But I got some problems with Victor Wembanyama, and I just mean these physically.
Okay? The only problem I have with him is his physique.
It's his frame. Exactly.
It's the only problem I have with him.
It's just the frame of Wembanyama, and I hope Pop teaches him to play with his back to the basket. Because, as I mentioned earlier in the program, there are no bigs anymore. Not true. Well, besides the king, Nikola Jokic.
Besides Nikola Jokic.
Besides Jokic. I'm talking about true bigs. And JJ, you're going to hate me for saying this, but you're going to love me at the same time. Joel Embiid is not a big, because he doesn't play like one.
Joel Embiid.
He doesn't play. He doesn't play like a big.
Joel Embiid is a big that plays like a small forward. And you know how
That's the
small
problem.
forwards like to have a diversified game where they can show they
Yep.
have a post game, they can
And
show they
that's
have a mid range, and they can show they have perimeter game,
and that's
and
a
they can show
doggone
and they show they can take people off the dribble.
and that's a
That is
doggone problem.
that is the on the court issue I have with Embiid is that he's a center who
Mhm.
he should dominate the league, hasn't, and now won't because Nikola Jokic is going to. And
Man, Nikola Jokic is going to be around for a long time.
yeah, and I mean Embiid could have easily had 30-point a 30-point per average performance
Easy.
years before he did it, and easier for him than when he did it because
Much.
I'm like nobody is ruling the post. That should be his domain, but he plays too small
Mhm.
for a guy that size. And yeah, and Wembanyama, I've seen, I can see something similar in that regard. He does play small for his size too.
Yep. And that scares me. That
And
scares me.
and
Let's go to
and
this.
go ahead.
We talked about the state of mainstream media. You sent me this gem, and we got to park this. We got to park this right here. This is probably going to be 2 segments long. The state of, from the New York Post, the state of ESPN radio has been pretty bleak these days, and former host Mike Golick expresses dismay about where things are headed. He said, quote, "Damn shame and very sad what has become of ESPN radio." Close quote. I don't think anymore. He doesn't need to say anymore.
Well, I mean, he should know. I mean, he was one half of the team that brought forth not just the best ratings on ESPN radio, but the best ratings that ESPN had. Period.
Yeah, because we
For
didn't know
almost
what
20
ESPN.
years.
We didn't know what ESPN radio was going to do.
Yeah, and that was and he was one half of the vehicle that made it possible for ESPN radio to be a platform.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I would think Mike Golick would know.
And then there was Golick and Wingo, and that crashed.
That's unfortunate, and because I
Yeah.
like both of them, I like both.
I
I
do.
like both Golick and Trey Wingo. I love them both individually,
And I
they
love the
they
fact
were a
that-
pretty good team. But of course,
Yeah,
it's like
but it wasn't Mike and Mike in the morning.
that's exactly where I was going to go. It wasn't like Mike Greenberg and Mike Golick, and people will compare that. They would say, yeah, as good as that pairing is, it's not Mike and Mike, and
Mm-hmm.
it was going to be penalized because of that, and it was penalized because of that.
And they're going to continue to be penalized.
Mm-hmm.
You remember the first play-by-play voice for ESPN Radio? Jim Durham.
Mm-hmm.
And they paired him with Dr. Jack Ramsey, who was great, and then they started shuffling them around by 2001.
That's a shame.
Because the 2 major partners I remember Jim Durham having were Dr. Jack and Quinn Buckner.
That's right. He was on ESPN Radio. I totally forgot about that. Yeah.
Yep, Quinn Buckner.
Underrated color guy.
Very. And then that
Underrated
crashed. And unfortunately, ESPN stuck their nose in their business again, and that crashed and burned.
Mm-hmm.
It crashed and burned. And now you have play-by-play teams, and this is where I get on my soapbox because I've done it for 27 years. You have play-by-play teams that you don't recognize. You turn on ESPN radio and you listen to their national coverage of the NBA, using that as an example, and I know JJ will agree with me. And you wonder, who the hell are these guys? Find the lie.
Of them. No. Don't know. The times that I test what ESPN radio is doing at the time, I normally set my clock to it. So,
yep.
In the trips I normally take with my wife to see my mother-in-law, I have autonomy over the radio because I'm driving, and sometimes I listen. Well, no, along the trip I always listen to ESPN radio, and if it's not a game, obviously, I'm want to see who do they believe is the new voice or the new voices of the company, because it'll say they try to trot new voices.
Yep.
And it's like, okay, I want to get invested in every. I've said this about every one of them. I want to get invested in you. I get what you're trying to do. I see what your vibe is. It just doesn't click. It doesn't mesh, and I don't think there's anybody on ESPN Radio that's helping them formulate the personality you need to have behind the camera on the mic, and or in front of the camera on the mic, and that is damaging.
Very, very. Play-by-play with JJ said it best. You know, they brought hockey back to ESPN. They put it behind a doggone paywall. For those who don't notice, why is Gary Thorne not voicing this? I mean, I love you, Sean McDonough, but why is Gary Thorne not voicing on television ESPN hockey or AB? Here's another question. Since we're talking about mainstream media, when we come back from a break, we'll get more into Victor Wembanyama. Why weren't the Stanley Cup Finals on ABC this year? Because the ratings for the Stanley Cup Finals, which were combined on ESPN Plus, and TNT, were a colossal failure. Period. They were they were. I'll say it aloud, and I'm a fan of a YouTube channel called Behind the Line. The ratings for the Stanley Cup Final, and for that matter, the NBA Final, which was on ABC, were a colossal failure.
The NBA Finals ratings weren't a colossal failure. Now, if you compare it to like a series like 1984, of course it's a colossal failure.
Right.
But actually, the Heat Nuggets series, best ratings that ABC has had in the last 5 years.
Okay.
Yes, Bron Sessions. That includes the Bubble Championship too. So
thank you for climbing in my head on that.
But unfortunately, and this is, I've become a more nuanced fan of the NHL in the last 10 years, considering that now I do live in a city that does have an NHL franchise in it. It still is, for some reason, from the mainstream media aspect, it's considered a niche sport. It's still considered it's still considered a sport where it's like, okay, all right, so the East Coast may like it, some in the West Coast may like it, definitely the Midwest, and Canada. The South, I don't think really gives a crap about it, which that's a lie.
They would have you think the South doesn't care about it,
right,
and that's a total lie.
Right.
That's a total lie.
Yeah, and now what may be true is the desert may not care about it, and there is some truth to that.
And we're seeing that crash and burn.
And so
we're seeing that crash and burn right before our eyes.
Yeah, so I think you having those perceptions in the boardrooms of these execs in media, especially with Disney, who's in charge of ABC, and they're saying, does it pull in and draw in people like the NBA does? No. We can relegate it to ESPN then, and it's unfair to the sport.
You know what? Dietz just said it best. Right here, it's not that we don't know the people in the booth; it's that the people in the booth don't know each other. Watch the USFL broadcast. What the hell is Kurt Menefee doing in the booth? I'll say it. What the hell is Kurt Menefee doing in the booth?
Why is Kurt Menefee a play-by-play announcer?
He's a studio host.
Yes, that's where he belongs.
He's just that's where he. They couldn't find anybody. They couldn't find anybody else to do the US to pay money to do the US. Hell, I'll do it. Let me bring my family on location, and y'all set us up. I'll do it.
I'll hop on and off this soapbox really fast. Unfortunately, that is yet another reason why the USFL is faltering, is going to collapse right before our very eyes, probably within the next 2 or 3 years. And I'm not rooting for it. I'm not saying that this is something that I predicted. They have just made one bad move after another bad move. And you could just see it be reflected even with the voice of the sport, the voice of the league. the media voice of the league. Kurt Menefee? No, he belongs in the studio. That's where he is. And you're not gonna get a seasoned or a up and coming voice to actually show his or her wares, to promote the league through the knowledge of the players, the knowledge of the sport, the knowledge of the history. Because even though, yes, they have not played in the USFL for long stretches, this league has been 40 years in existence. So you need to have someone who actually has the chops to actually deliver the play-by-play as we as football fans know it. And so we can build that trust if it's someone new, or we can tie back in to that voice if we've heard it before.
Yeah.
But the way it's going now, no. And unfortunately, that's yet another reason why I just wince whenever I now hear USFL. I'm like, doggone, they're going to meet their end soon, yet again.
Very soon. Very soon. JJ says, let's bring up that Tony Romo deal, shall we? CBS agreed to give Romo that contract, and now they're trying to find ways to get rid of him. Isn't that how mainstream media works?
I don't know if they're trying to find ways to get rid of him, but they're trying to find ways to corral him. And because here's the funny thing about that, JJ. So people, especially in the CBS boardroom, they were loving the fact that Romo was acting like he was a quarterback in the booth. He was saying, okay, seeing what the offense is calling and seeing how the defense is packaged up. I bet this is the play.
Mm-hmm.
And the first year, he was the darling of television, darling of sports television, because he was basically being like an offensive coordinator.
Yep.
But it's funny how that same thing that made him beloved is now the same thing people are like, shut him up, turn him off. The very same thing.
And that happened within 2 years.
Yeah.
That's unfortunately happened within 2 years. Take a small break. When we come back, some Spivey notes. And boy, we're going to have fun with that. Back after this.
Oh, yeah.
We're not a cooking show. We're a show about cooking. We turn the camera around and point it at you. Our show takes place right inside your kitchen.
Hey, y'all, Snowman here. Catch me, Cole Johnson, Wise El Jefe, and the usual cast of characters as we bring it to you every Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. 10 a.m. It's called Snowman in the Morning with Cole Johnson, and it's right here on CSTV and CSTVnow.com. Join us, won't you?
Thursday nights are wrestling night on CSTV. Tune in every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Pacific to see all the amazing Next Level Pro Wrestling stars on Thursday Night Throwdown on CSTVnow.com and the CSTV app on your Roku device.
On the Invader Coffee guest line, here's Jay. Good morning, my friend.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you?
Doing good.
We're doing
How are
good.
you,
How are you, brother?
Doing well.
Okay. The Charlotte Hornets picked who?
Exactly.
The
They could go
greatest
on
player
and on.
of all
The
time
draft
is Paul George.
prognosticators could go on and on. There was only one person in that draft. That's it.
Yep. That's
And
it.
he did not go to the Charlotte Hornets.
He went to the San Antonio Spurs.
He most certainly did.
He went to the San Antonio Spurs because after pick number 1, you could turn the draft off.
Well, if you watch this pre draft interview that this fool did, he's talking about who the all time best player in NBA history was, I nearly dropped my phone.
Hey, at least it's not LeBron.
Well, there is that, but come on.
Said Paul George.
Yeah. Who's probably not even the top 200 NBA players of all time.
He said Paul George.
What?
Paul George.
What? This is who the Hornets are going to have as their centerpiece.
What the hell are they trying to do?
Okay, so
Gordon Hayward is done for.
Okay, so
LaMelo Ball is
hurt.
What do they see in Brandon Miller?
What to me, honestly, and I heard some other people talk about this Friday after the draft was over. Right. You don't know who any of these guys are anymore. Any of them.
Can I get a witness? How many times, Jay? How many times have the three of us said that in the last 2 years?
And listen, I'm not the biggest NBA fan in the world, but I do watch the draft every year because I enjoy watching all drafts.
Yep.
I got to about the 8th or 10th person drafted, and I couldn't begin to tell you who they were. And I watch college basketball pretty religiously.
That's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's the funny thing about it, because I was wondering, why is it that I'm not connected? And this has been for now decades. Why is it I'm not connected to an NBA draft like I was when we were all growing up? I'm thinking
because it's over. Because
I could have, in the 80s, 90s, and even early 2000s, I could have watched every round there was, and I would have known who every player was.
Exactly.
Right. And you hit the nail on the head. Like it's like you follow college basketball and you see this draft, and it's like,
who are
there's
these
too many
guys?
times you say, who's this player? I don't remember seeing him.
I mean, what does it tell? I know they kind of go on what they see as potential, but what does it tell you about today's standards that a guy like Drew Timme he didn't even get a sniff.
Nope. It's like the players that play 3-4 years in college don't even get a chance.
They have no chance.
None.
No.
And they want to stay. They want to stay. They want to make their game better. What happens? They wind up going overseas.
It's almost now a death
sentence.
It's almost like it's a death sentence if now you play in a collegiate program 3 or 4 years. And that's a shame and a half.
Yep.
Because it should show, okay, more than likely the player has matured, or for the most part has matured in his game and as a person. Because you're literally be drafting a man. You won't be drafting an adult.
You either will have had to play 1 year in college, play in the G League, or you're gonna have to be a European player.
Mm-hmm.
And let's face it, guys, I'm gonna say this over and over and over till I get blue in the face. The European players are outperforming the American players at that age.
By miles.
I'll put it to you like this.
Not even close.
I'll put it to you like this. The European players are being taught the game at a much more fundamental, deeper, and a much stronger level. And I'm talking about at 12, 13, 14 than the U.S. basketball players are.
Because the U.S. basketball players are playing too much doggone AAU.
And it's not seen as
one.
These players aren't seen as commodities like they are in the United States, because it's all about shoes and apparel and everything else here. And these kids aren't learning anything here. They're just, hey, here's the ball, go play a game. That's not learning anything.
And they're not taught the, here I go cussing, fundamentals anymore.
No,
They
that's
don't.
exactly right. Cole said.
And I'm going to say something that's going
Look
to
at the top
anger.
players in the NBA right now.
Yep, they're European.
4 of the last 5 NBA MVPs are European or from another country.
Exactly. And they don't. Okay, I'm going to say it. Since the LeBron James quote-unquote era began, there are so many players in the NBA right now that don't like to be, wait for it, coached.
No.
They don't want to be taught. Okay?
No.
They need
and
to be.
when LeBron James took his so-called talents to Miami, and yes, I've said so-called for 20 years. When he took his so-called talents to Miami and went into Pat Riley's office, Pat Riley promptly told him what was going on and kicked him out.
Good.
And since then, even though he's delivered 2 championships to Miami, since then, LeBron James has hated it because someone actually got back in his face and told him what the deal was instead of LeBron telling
Well, that's
them.
like most of the players here, and it's not even just basketball in the United States. Our whole system of developing youth athletics is just it's ridiculous.
It is.
It's totally broken. Totally broken.
I watched,
and we wonder why we struggle in soccer and tennis and stuff like that. It's because it's totally broken. It shouldn't be about a scholarship.
It shouldn't. I watched Victor and I watched travel baseball at Ho Chunk Complex for 7 years. And let me tell you, travel baseball, as much as I loved calling the games, has divided the game.
Yeah.
It's divided the game because now the players that are the best of the best of the best get all the shots. And you don't even know if they're the best of the best of the best because you don't get everyone a fair opportunity to prove themselves.
The other thing, let's be honest, it's a money grab too.
It is big time.
Total money grab. These people who are running these things, they don't care about these kids. They care about the bottom line.
Okay, and let me explain. Let me say this. I am a big fan of the Little League World Series.
Oh, yeah.
I've always been a fan of the Little League World Series. But I have a problem with travel baseball developing pitchers incorrectly.
Yep.
Because when you're 12 and 13, and I play baseball, I've seen it happen.
Curveballs.
When you, thank you, Cole, for climbing in my head, but you're exactly right. These coaches are stupid for teaching these kids curveballs instead of just strengthening the arm, throwing nothing but gas. When I played with Jackie Robinson, okay, when I played with the JRW back in Chicago in the early 80s, and I wanted to be a pitcher, they wanted to see a fastball from me. They didn't care anything about a changeup or a curveball or anything off speed. A coach directly told me, we're going to develop your arm throwing nothing but gas. If you get hit, you get hit. But that's the first pitch you need to develop. Why? You have to master that pitch. You have to master the location. And the most important thing, it lengthens and strengthens your pitching arm.
Well, listen, I used to cover the Winston-Salem Dash, which is the high affiliate of the White Sox for years and years. And I saw how the development worked.
Yep.
And it was all about development. And they didn't care about how long what it should, like a Nolan Ryan, he would have laughed at you. You said, you can only throw 50 pitches per game. He would have laughed.
In your face.
Well,
in your face.
The obvious to me, and I know he did not win Player of the Golden Spikes Award yesterday, but to me, the far and away best player in college baseball is Paul Skeens. The pitcher for LSU. Now, I know his teammate Dylan Cruz won yesterday. He's a phenomenal player, but he's a pitcher. The Pirates have the #1 draft pick in 2 weeks. 2 weeks from yesterday.
And I'll be covering that.
What
Big
it
time.
looks like is that he's going to be the number one pick because it looks like he jumped Cruz in the latest mock draft, as he should have. Now the Pirates are crazy. The Pirates are crazy if they don't draft him, as bad as they are.
Exactly. That could
Most
be their corner. That could be their cornerstone. That could be their cornerstone.
Most draft analysts say that Skeens can pitch in Major League Baseball right now.
Yep.
Now you just watch. If he is drafted by the Pirates or any other team for that matter, he will be shut down for the entire rest of the baseball season. You just watch.
Mm-hmm.
When he only been pitches for 3 months, 3 or 4 months.
Mm-hmm.
You just watch. That's what's after tonight. If he pitches tonight, and I fully expect that he'll pitch at least a couple innings tonight.
Yep.
He will be shut. He will not pitch again until next year. You just watch.
He will definitely be shut down, and I wouldn't be surprised if that happens either.
But yet, the amount of arm injuries have gone through the roof.
Yes. Yes. Let me ask this question, Jay, and you and I talked about it briefly. Why the bias in the College World Series? Why the bias? Because we've talked about this all year, regular season until now. There is so much bias in college baseball by a certain network.
Oh, it was obvious.
That
it was
too
obvious
since its opening.
Well, I mean, especially when Wake played LSU twice last week. When they played Wednesday and Thursday night, it was obvious ESPN wanted LSU to win. It was obvious.
Mm-hmm.
They went out of their way to talk about them. And that Wake, up until the semifinals, never got a night game. And I understand
the game they played 11 innings wasn't even talked about much.
Well, I mean, most people say who watched it and who follow college baseball say it's one of the best games ever.
One of the best games they've seen. Yeah. Period.
And it was probably the two best pitchers in college baseball going against each other.
And they played 11 innings. They played 11 innings and a walk-off home run decided it. That's baseball to me. Period. No matter what the level. That's baseball. But again, why did no one?
Because they're little old Wake Forest. It's little old Wake Forest. There's a and I hate. Well, I mean, you guys know my dad just died 2 months ago. So, but there's a phrase my dad used to bring up all the time that used to crack me up. And I told you I grew up a Wake fan is because of him.
Yes,
but I am objective, very objective. My dad always said there was a phrase that he always said it was loaf, little old Wake Forest, and it was to say that they never got any exposure. Well, seeing that from afar, I just kind of laugh, but stuff like this, you see it.
Yes. Yes, you do.
Yep.
Yes, you do. You know what's sad? It keeps getting worse. You know what I'm saying? This college World Series, and remember, once upon a time, the College World Series was on network television. CBS had
CBS.
CBS had the College World Series. ESPN in the early days took the double elimination games.
Yeah,
they took the early part of they took the early part of it. Then CBS had the national championship game, and it was only one game.
And then they changed the format.
They changed
where they had the best 2 out of 3 championship game.
Yep. Now it's best 2 of 3, and the championship game is tonight with Florida and LSU.
Yeah.
Championship game is tonight.
Yeah, winner take all.
Well, listen, y'all can throw out what happened yesterday. That was yesterday has no bearing on what's going to happen tonight.
Yeah,
none whatsoever.
Look,
I fully expect tonight is going to be a fantastic game.
All I
wouldn't be surprised if the last and this is the last game of the year. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes extras.
Listen, they can talk. I mean, I watched most of the game yesterday. They talk about is Skeens going to pitch. Of course, he's going to pitch today.
Yeah,
he's going to pitch today.
Hell yeah, he's going to pitch. Come on, hell yeah, he's going to pitch.
Even if it's just for a couple innings, he's going to pitch.
He's going to throw. He's going to pull. I wouldn't be surprised if it's another Madison Bumgarner performance from. Y'all know what Bumgarner did 2014 against the Kansas City Royals.
Wait a minute. I have to bring now that you mentioned that
complete game shutout.
I've got to mention this. Since you brought that name up, Snowman.
Yes.
I don't know if you guys have ever seen me post this on Facebook, but I used to have, as y'all well know, I used to be a sport. Well, I still am a sports writer.
Yeah.
But my former sports editor, who was a complete moron, I don't hate anybody, but I despise her.
And for many, many,
listen, I wrote a story about.
Go for it.
I wrote a story, a high school baseball story in the playoffs in North Carolina.
Yeah.
It was, and then it happened to be where Madison Bumgarner's from North Carolina. He's from a little town called Hudson, right outside of Hickory.
Yeah.
So anyway, his father happened to be the plate umpire that night that I covered this baseball game.
Mm-hmm.
So I mentioned him in the story, and the main reason I mentioned it was because the last time that I covered the team that I covered that had reached that far in the playoffs was when they lost to Madison's team, South Caldwell, in the playoffs when Madison was in high school. Well, the very next day, after that story had been printed, she comes to me, my editor comes to me, and she goes, now bear in mind, she's a sports editor in North Carolina.
Okay.
She comes to me, and we actually have a one-on-one meeting in her office.
Oh, boy.
And she goes, why would you write about Madison Bumgarner? Nobody has ever heard of Madison Bumgarner. This is the guy who's probably going to be in the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame.
Yes.
He won 3 MVPs in the World Series. 3. But yet she somehow never heard of him before.
You know, it goes to what I it goes to what I really felt when I actually spent a couple of years in North Carolina. It's almost as if no other sporting anything matters.
Right.
And I did not think it was
I don't. Cole, I think you're giving her too much credit about this.
No.
She was that inept.
No. I'm painting this broad brush with her included.
Oh,
because it seems like to me all and when I was there, all they cared about was whatever North Carolina did, basketball wise, sometimes football.
Sometimes.
But whatever Carolina did in basketball, whatever Duke did in basketball, so you could hate on them. Whatever. Well, more than likely then, because I was in North Carolina when Dale Earnhardt was ruling in NASCAR. Whatever Dale Earnhardt did, and I mean senior, not junior, and whatever Michael Jordan did. If it wasn't those 4 things at the time that I was there, it didn't matter what happened in sports, and that included when the Hornets became a team in Charlotte, and I'm like, doggone.
Well, y'all have both lived here before. I've seen it recently, and I've said this for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Like you just said, Cole, everybody looks at this as a basketball state. To me, basketball is one of the worst sports in this state. It really is. Girls and boys.
I'll agree with that.
In my humble opinion, and I've covered high school sports for 32 years.
Yep.
In my humble opinion, the 2 best sports in North Carolina are baseball and football. Football is really good in North Carolina, and baseball is phenomenal in this state.
And that's what trips me out, Jay. Because when I was there, I was like, the football here, it actually looks pretty good. High school and college. I think
it's gotten much better.
It's gotten much better.
And I was about to say, it probably is even better than it was when I was there. But I'm like,
all you gotta do look is, when you see kids getting looked at and getting offers, just look at the Big Ten and the SEC just flock up here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's not surprising because I had and I'm taking a straight up shot. I had a chance to cover high school baseball when I was there, only to have it yanked from under me.
Oh.
And Jay, you and I both know why.
Of course.
More to the point, you and I both know who.
Okay? And he didn't like baseball too. So.
He hated baseball. Hates? No. Change the tense. Hates baseball.
And
still hates.
And at the
Still
time,
hates baseball.
And to your point, Jay, at the time I lived in North Carolina, they barely covered baseball. Barely.
Well, can you say that again, please? Cole, can you say that again, please?
When I lived in North Carolina, they barely covered, and I'm talking about MLB even. They barely covered baseball.
I had another editor. I had a totally different editor who basically wanted me to cover football 365 days of the year. I was like,
Oh,
no,
please.
I'm a high school beat writer. I'm not covering football 365 days a year.
Yeah.
I mean, and this 7-on-7 garbage that everybody's playing now, that's not football.
It's garbage.
That is not football.
Yeah, and you have about to say you
It's-
have dead
it's-
time
it's
more than
garbage.
you do
It's
action.
garbage.
Why would I not cover the baseball playoffs in the middle of May? In the middle of May, that's just idiotic.
Yeah.
Especially when the 4A plays Burlington Athletic Stadium.
So
Okay.
so this editor thought that it would be cool for the readership to think that you would want to write how scrimmages of certain high schools were.
I work for a medium-sized paper,
Mm-hmm.
and they wanted me to cover scrimmages in August instead of covering actual soccer games in August.
Wait, scrimmages in August, and then scrimmages when it got warmer in March, April, and May.
Whatever.
And I'm thinking,
but this was mostly August. Is what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
definitely. I'm thinking, who would unless you really are a nerd of the industry, who would want to read that?
Well,
who would
care to read that?
Cole, I believe it's either the 5th or 6th largest city in the state. They don't care. People around here don't care about scrimmages.
Thank you. Proving my point. I'm like,
so what I
why
wrote
would you
about,
want to even
what I
force
wrote
me
about,
to
is
that?
what I wrote about is a feature. I just try to find a feature to write about because I'm not writing about scrimmages themselves.
And Jay, you're a fantastic writer, which is why I'm so glad that we connected and that you're on with us each week. We got about 90 seconds left.
But
I
did want to mention this, and I did say that when I texted you, well, I guess I know there's going to be a lot of people in North Carolina, especially around this area, who are not going to like what I say about the College World Series. Y'all know I love Wake Forest, but I'm objective. The two best teams in college baseball are playing tonight for the college baseball national championship.
For the national championship, absolutely.
Yeah, they
absolutely.
are. I mean,
and I'm not going to say anything
LSU
otherwise.
proved their worth. Yeah, LSU
proved their worth against. They proved it throughout the series.
Proved throughout the series. They proved it in their matchups with Wake Forest.
Yeah, and Wake had a great year. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, and that takes nothing away from the year that Wake Forest had.
But they play in a bandbox. The stadium is a beautiful stadium, but they play in a bandbox, and they could not get adjusted to Charles Schwab Field in Omaha.
No,
they tried to hit home runs, and you're not going to win hitting home runs.
They couldn't play small. They couldn't adjust.
You got to play small ball more.
Mm-hmm. They scored 8 runs in 4 games. 8.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that can't. Yeah.
That won't get it done
against fellow offenses that they have to face. Yeah, that won't cut it.
That will not. You got to play small ball when you get to the College World Series. You have to. I mean, Wake Forest is a power hitting team. You know, Ty Collins and I discussed it all year long. But when you get to the College World Series, you got to play small ball. And you got to play fundamental baseball.
Rhett Lauder pitched great Thursday night, but they shouldn't have had to worry about Rhett Lauder Thursday night. They should have won Wednesday night when they had all the control in their own hands.
They had everything there for them, and when they lost Wednesday night, they lost the series.
Yep.
Yeah,
they lost their momentum, and then that was that.
Mm-hmm.
Thursday was a crapshoot.
Yep.
You got the 2 best pitchers in college baseball pitching Thursday night. It's a crapshoot.
And then LSU walked off.
Yeah.
By a
kid who transfers from NC State.
Yep.
Walked off in extra innings. Yeah.
On a walk-off homer.
Mm-hmm.
On a walk-off homer. We got to get out of here. Jay, thank you very much, buddy. I will talk to you Tuesday afternoon during the Brian Snow Show. Thanks a lot, brother. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Have a great week.
You too, man.
We leave y'all with this. When you play the College World Series, Victor Locke just said it, you got to manufacture runs.
Yeah.
You have to manufacture. You have to play small ball. You have to manufacture runs.
Because that stadium is, that ballpark is huge in dimension. Yeah.
And you ain't hitting home. It's not easy to hit home runs there.
You got to give a good shot to hit home runs.
You have to do what LSU did Thursday night.
Mm-hmm.
And it may take you 11 innings to get there, but you got to manufacture runs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just like you got to manufacture great production of your sports shows. To all that are independent, stay independent, please. Please stay independent. Because these networks are hemorrhaging money and they're coming after the independents right now. Watch this. They already swallowed one with Pat McAfee. They swallowed Pat McAfee with $120 million, and his creative control is going to go out the window. Watch.
That's
Watch.
Gonna be that's going to be damaging to him, because that's really what makes the show run, is the
To
fact
him
that
and it's because it's pure. Because until now it was pure.
Yeah, it was pure,
It
and
was from the heart.
It's from the heart, and it was unique to him and his crew.
Very much so.
It's basically like the Joe Rogan experience. It is a unique experience,
Mhm.
and if you get corporate to have any injection into it,
yeah,
the uniqueness starts to fade a bit.
Yes,
and that's what's going to suck.
Well, they ain't gonna be here. We're doing this with our own conglomerate, and we're bringing truth telling back into sports talk.
And
we got to scram. Have a great day. God bless. Remember to make your next move your best move, and always remember, if your dreams don't scare you, they're simply not big enough.
Nope.
Dream big, do bigger. We hope y'all are too. We're out of here. See you tomorrow.